Welcome to the Get It Done podcast, where you'll find me, Bradley Simmons, weight loss and fitness expert, chatting to other experts on why health is the key to success. If you haven't heard of our 5 pillars that get it done, they are mental, physical, emotional, social, and financial health. This podcast is going to help you build your 5 pillars, and therefore is going to build your success and, most importantly, your happiness. Let's get it done. James, class to have you on the podcast, mate. How's things? Been a while.
It's good to be here. I'm excited to chat to you, hear what you've been up to, share what I've been up to.
Exactly. And mate, talk to me, the name London Fitness Guy. Where did the London Fitness Guy come from?
Oh, that's a great question to start with. I think back in the day when I first started sharing fitness content, I had this moment where I was like, I want a different name that's going to reflect what I'm about. And I thought, well, I'm from London.
Yep.
I'm into fitness, I'm a guy, and it quite simply came through that. Yeah. And I remember when I first changed my name on Instagram, my friends were like, what is this all about?
Yeah, they do, don't they? I do
yeah, there's a few laughs and what are you doing? What's your angle? But it's kind of stuck, and it's kind of helped me build a brand around that name. And I think being in London is a massive bonus for content creation. We've got some amazing spots.
100%.
So yeah, it's worked quite well.
It's good. I think it's very good. It's very important. I think for new influencers coming up, if you can have that name, like people are going to remember you. Some people might say, oh, no, James is doing really well. So which James? London Fitness? Oh yeah, of course he's smashing it. It's funny how it just clicks straight away, doesn't it?
I don't think anyone knows me as James. I think like
do you go to events and go, there's London Fitness Guy?
Exactly.
Really?
Or meet people out and about and they say, oh, you're that guy, London Fitness Guy. Or I don't think anyone's ever called me James in the last 10 years.
It's been one hell of a journey, mate. We obviously knew each other from years back. We first met each other from the X Factor days.
An interesting experience
Interesting experience, wasn't it? Talk to us about that.
Oh, I was working with Fitbit for 5 years, which is great. A long time ago, it kind of gave me a bit of a platform and push to start working for myself rather than working for a business. An opportunity came to work in the X Factor house. I think I called you. I said, would you be keen for this? So they're looking for 2 people. And I think in hindsight now, I thought it'd be a bit of a bigger boost than it probably was.
Yeah.
It was a little bit kind of flaky training the guests.
It
in the house.
was a strange one, wasn't it?
There were some unique characters.
And they thought they were superstars, didn't they? When we used to turn up to that house, they thought they were superstars.
It was just a strange dynamic. I mean, I guess it's like working with a client who doesn't really want to do fitness because they were there to sing, perform, win a competition, and we kind of came in saying, right, 10 burpees, and that was probably the last thing they wanted to do in that situation. And being young and not really into fitness, it didn't help. But yeah, it was a good experience. Regardless. It was fun. Obviously, we got to spend some time together, and it made it a lot easier. So
yeah, good, mate. And your growth since then has been incredible. So we're 1.1 million followers now. And for me, for you, I just look at you and say consistency. You found your niche. You know what works for your audience, and you stick to it. And a lot of influencers or people that want to grow their following now or are interested in Instagram and how to grow their following, what would your advice be?
I think having an audience you want to work with is the first port of call, because for me, it's always about people landing on my page, seeing what exercises, workouts, information I share and thinking, does that relate to me or not? And if it does, obviously, hopefully they hit follow. If they don't, then that's absolutely fine. There are millions of content creators, influencers, whatever you want to call it, out there that are probably better suited to them. But I think having an idea of what type of content I wanted to share was a huge help to keep it consistent. I've always wanted to work with people who are fairly new to fitness or kind of in that intermediate stage who don't have access to a gym and just want to work out from home. Maybe they've got a set of dumbbells and a barbell. That's kind of the area I've always wanted to work with. And now I've just honed in on that and stuck to it for, I guess, what is 6-7 years now, which is crazy.
Yeah, because there's a crazy stat. Only 12% of the UK have a membership of the gym. Do you know what I mean? So there's a massive percentage of people who can only have access to home workouts. And obviously I do provide that, get it done as well. Simple home workouts that can get results. You don't necessarily have to go to the gym. You might get better results in the gym, but you can get serious results simply just using dumbbells, resistant bands, a yoga mat. Of course you can.
Yeah, I mean, you think about when people go into a gym, the vast majority of people go and use a set of dumbbells. Yeah. And that would be the basis of their workout. So a lot of people, I think, join a gym for the community and the motivation to see other people working out. But if you've got a set of dumbbells and you're prepared to continually invest in new sets when you become stronger, which is obviously a huge bonus, something to be proud of for doing. I think you can continue getting results at home. And I think lockdown probably showed a lot of people that actually they can get results at home in that period.
Is that where your growth started from lockdown? Did you see a big
Funny
growth?
enough, I think there was growth over lockdown, but I think it kind of saturated a lot of what I did. There weren't many people doing kind of accessible bodyweight type workouts. Obviously you were as well. But I think over lockdown, everyone had to transition to that, and it kind of saturated what I was about a little bit. But since lockdown, I mean, I think social media is really hard to grow on these days as someone that's been in it a long time. Maybe if you're a fresh creator coming through, I think finding your identity with content you share and finding what you enjoy sharing and can consistently do is really hard. And running a business at the same time that's not just about content creation is really tough.
Yeah, that's the balance I find. It's like, I'm trying to grow my Instagram. Of course you are, because you want to bring in that new audience, but you're so busy behind the scenes, making sure your online clients are getting the service they need. Your subscribers on the app are getting the service that they need. And you have your own life as well. You want to look after yourself. If you get so consumed into creating content all the time, you end up not living, and your mental health, which I've experienced in the past, can be affected for sure. Can you notice that? Because obviously people say we're healthy, we're in good shape, but they just assume we're always happy. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you have your struggles? Just try to be consistent?
All the time. I think I can just be consistent and push it out, but there are periods where creativity isn't strong. And, when you're stressed, your creativity isn't there, and it's really hard to think of new ideas. And I have kind of different pillars of content that I share. Some is very easy to do a workout, for example. It doesn't really require much thought. You're just sharing exercises that have a specific purpose. But sharing more information and sharing more valuable content, it takes a little bit more work, a little bit more scripting, and sometimes learning. I try and do a lot of courses myself to upskill, and that's given me a big platform to learn.
Is that with editing and filming?
No, more in terms of like actual courses around like running or breath work. And it's kind of just given me a bit of a push to think of new avenues I am interested in, that I want to share. I'm a bit of a geek. I just love listening and learning stuff, and it's given me a different angle to work through. Yeah,
because I was looking at your content today, and it is very specific at running, isn't it? You're very running based. You enjoy your running, and everyone seems to be running these days. It seems to be quite a trend, which is a good trend. Obviously, everyone's moving.
Running has become huge. And I think everyone has started to run because it's become quite cool and sexy. I think a lot of people have started to do it, and it's become an in thing.
Well, it's become the new dating app, isn't it?
Yeah, it has. I think especially amongst like younger generations, there's a lot of people are running. And I think 2 years ago, I started a run club when it was not many people were really doing it at that period. I really enjoyed it. It was a great way to meet people, and it was in London. It was just fun. And through that, I was like, actually, there's a lot of people that are starting to run and get an interest. And then when I became a run coach, did a run coach qualification, and it just opened up some new information to me that I thought, I'm actually really interested in this. And it kind of gave me a different angle besides just being about workouts, which has been really good, especially with the growth of running.
Because so many people are running, but they're not doing the strength to enhance their run, right?
I think a lot of people...
Nutrition, hydration. There's a lot of people out there just putting their running shoes on and running.
People are making a lot of mistakes in running. And, I think that I said this on a podcast recently as well, that I think we're going to have a lot of injury issues over the next year or two with young people.
What's the most common injuries you see? I guess shin splints.
Shin splints, hips are always bad for running, and just general knees is always one. But a lot of people think that knees are weakened by running, but there's actually not much evidence to suggest that. And they did research on marathon runners and looking at the cartilage in the knees, and there was no impact. And I think it's just that if you are running sensibly, you generally don't get injured. But if you're trying to do too much too soon and run, 10K without doing a single run, you're going to get injured because your body's not ready for that, or the muscles aren't ready for that. Physically, like your fitness, you probably can, but you'll wake up the next day feeling in a world of pain, and that pain can translate to an injury somewhere across your body. And in running, it's really hard to pinpoint where the injuries are caused from because there's so much going on. So, you've got an issue with your knee, it could be caused by your hip, and there's a lot going on.
Even your shoulder.
It's
crazy how the body works.
Yeah, and a lot of people run with like a mobile phone in their hand or a water bottle, which is one of the worst things you can do.
Imbalance.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So beginners out there who want to get into running, what's the best advice? Where do they start?
A walk-run program is always the best. And not just beginner runners, anyone that's had a break from running that's wanting to get back into running should start with a walk-run program where they're, walking for a minute, running for 90 seconds, or if that's too much, they can do a 2-minute walk and a 1-minute run. Anything that's going to give them a baseline to gradually build that fitness up is a good idea. And then when it comes to building your fitness and confidence, you can look to do a maximum of a 10% increase in your total mileage week by week. Nice. And that's a really sensible plan. So you're not trying to achieve 5K in 3 weeks. You're giving yourself an 8-week period or 12-week period to achieve that as a beginner runner.
And strength side of things, they can still just get some dumbbells and resist bands and do things at home.
Yeah, or body
is
weight.
key.
I mean,
Even body weight.
yeah, I always call it like microdosing strength workouts when you're a runner, because if you're serious and you've got a goal of like a half marathon or a marathon, you're doing a lot of running in the week. And sometimes it's not possible for people who have, families or long work hours or shift patterns with work to be able to do a 40 to hour minute strength session. But actually just doing 20 minutes of conditioning for the lower body is going to be sufficient to help you progress through your runs.
Yeah, and nutrition side of things. Fueling yourself correctly, hydrating yourself correctly, electrolytes, for example, is very key. It's become a bit of a trend at the minute, which is a good trend. And I think it's so important. You wake up, get those electrolytes inside your body, and then go for your run. Do your mobility, and then go for that run.
Yeah, I mean, hydration and electrolytes has become a little bit of a strange one, because I think a lot of people use electrolytes to avoid cramp. But actually the biggest cause of cramp is trying to run with unconditioned muscles.
There you go.
So it doesn't fix a problem. It just gives you a hydration to be able to run. And, maybe over 5K you wouldn't need it, but if you're looking at longer distance, then you probably would. And having a refueling strategy where you're, using gels or carbs after running for 90 minutes is a good idea.
Yeah, because something we mentioned at Get It Done is the 5 pillars of health. So we have physical health, mental health, emotional health, social health, and financial health. And running is great for your physical health, because it improves your cardiovascular health, but the impact it has on your mental health is just incredible, which is why so many people are getting the bug and really enjoying it. Have you noticed that with yourself?
For sure. I mean, I think in London it's really hard to run in like green outdoor spaces other than the parks we've got.
Yeah.
I try and run in Wimbledon Park, and I do park run on a Saturday morning, which I absolutely love. It's 5K free event anyone can go to. And we do it through Wimbledon Park, which is an amazing route. But I think sometimes when you're stressed, so you just need a complete kind of mental refresh, it's such a good thing to get out and run with some amazing music in, or a podcast, whatever gets you through it. And, not having the pressure of always setting yourselves milestones and distance to run, just sometimes doing what feels good and walking when you need to and just enjoying it as much as you can.
Did you know that 1 in 5 have a gym membership but don't actually go? If you're listening and that sounds all too familiar, I have the solution. Get It Done, my wellness app, provides you with the choice between personalized gym guides, goal-specific guides, and hundreds of home workouts. You'll also get exclusive access to our community events and retreats. So whether it's time to cancel your gym membership and work out at home, or bring some structure and success to your gym schedule, the GID app can do just that for £18.99 a month. Not only that, we provide recipes and nutritional guidance so you can partner your workout regime with the right meal plans for optimal results. Life's too short to pay for a gym membership you're not using. It's time to get it done. When I was younger, I think I had this pressure because who I was a successful personal trainer. I needed to get serious quick times. I'm now happy doing 10Ks in 55 minutes. Just
still a good time, though.
It's good a time. Obviously, I used to do it when I was like under 40 minutes back in the day. But I'm happy with me and my dog. 55 minutes. I'm still conditioning my body. I'm not stressing out. And I'm not exhausted from it. When you push yourself constantly with those 5Ks, 10Ks, always constantly trying to get a PB, you are absolutely exhausted. So sometimes it's not always the best way to do it. And you can build your fitness by doing those slower runs.
And also, having an Instagram following opens up more people to say, oh, what time are you going for in any event you do? And I find it with half marathons, which I'm completely cool with. I'm not an elite runner. I run because I just enjoy doing it. So when I do half marathons, actually the key for me is to avoid injury, because I need to be able to work and film workouts and do things day to day. So actually getting those elite times is not what I'm interested in. It's more just a feeling of crossing a finish line, because London Marathon is unreal when you cross that finish line. Yeah, I've done London Marathon. It's just an amazing feeling to do those. And I think anyone that's considering doing a marathon and training for one should definitely do it at least once in their life.
Yeah, because I've done it twice, the London Marathon. The first time was a great experience. Did 3 hours 30. I really trained hard for that. Second one, I think I did 4 hours. I did my hamstring after 15 miles, mate.
Yeah.
And I heard it just go. I was like, oh no. So I just continued as fast as I could. That was a struggle, but still crossed the line. But that was a very hot marathon. Because this is the problem with the marathon training. You can train during the winter months, which can be cold, freezing. You're by yourself. I was doing 3 laps of Richmond Park, for example. And it comes to marathon day and it's hot. So your body's not conditioned to it.
No, and if you haven't tried running in heat, it can be really hard. I actually think I did the same one as you. It was, they had like showers down the sides, and I finished. I was like a hot sponge. My top was just soaking wet, and it was warm. It was uncomfortable, but again, like you finish it and you're relieved it's done, but you feel amazing. I think there's some really interesting studies on people that have finished marathons, and some people hold on to the pain of doing a marathon and the dark places you go to and don't ever want to do it again.
Yeah.
There's a lot of research around people that have finished marathons and then after a period they completely forget that feeling and just want to do another one.
Yeah.
So I think you kind of go two ways when you finish a marathon. It's either never again or can't wait to do the next one.
It's true. It's true. Are you going to do another marathon?
I really enjoy half marathons.
Half
I think that
marathons,
probably
is that
where
your
I want to
level?
stick to my limit, because the training doesn't really take over your life.
Yeah.
You can hold a pretty good baseline fitness to do half marathons, and you know your maximum run you do in a half marathon is significantly lower.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit easier
It's
and
an
more manageable
impressive
for
run
time.
to be able to do a half marathon.
Yeah, I mean some of those guys now. I mean, you know, I did Richmond last year, and the guys are just so quick. It's you've got this amazing balance of like hybrid athletes and you know high rocks athletes and all these people that are doing this stuff.
Athletes, mate, they're doing 5Ks in 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
It's really
I would love to
impressive,
be able
it's
to do it.
inspiring. It's definitely motivating.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, I mean, I think my best 5K is probably like 19 minutes, which is still
great.
It's still
Brilliant,
great,
yeah.
but my training is so balanced around my lifestyle that I just don't think I'm at a point in my life where I can seriously commit to trying to get one of those PBs. You know,
No, of course, you want to put your pressure, so you're a businessman, and we come on to other like the pillars of health. So we talk about financial health, for example. So you pushing yourself to try and get that 5K time to 15 minutes. That's going to affect your financial health because you put so much time and energy into that. You're going to be exhausted to run your business, and then your business is affected, and your financial. Do you understand? So you've got to find that perfect balance between those 5 pillars.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
we always talk about. Another pillar, obviously, running is social health, and how many people have met each other from, let's say, run clubs, meeting like-minded people, and being around that environment, which is so key for people's overall health.
Yeah, I mean, the social aspect of running is huge, or just workouts in general. You know, I was speaking to someone recently who's just moved to London, and they were saying, you know, how great it is. There's all these free opportunities to go and meet people in a new city. And I think, again, like maybe more so for younger generations, but I think it's just become a huge component of meeting new people. And like you said earlier, it's like a free dating app, right?
No, of course, mate. I've been to many cities around the world now, and obviously traveling a lot of different brands and obviously the job that I do, but you can't beat London. You can't. Especially on a summer's day, you can't beat London.
It's a great city to live and work in.
Yeah.
Again, like I'm kind of at a point in my life where I'm ready to get out now.
Where are you thinking of going?
Probably Surrey or somewhere like I just crave green space
Yeah.
and quiet now. Maybe I've become boring. I don't know.
No, mate, it's just age. I'm the same.
Yeah,
I'm the same.
I kind of walk around the city and I love going in, but my time spent in central is quite rare now.
Yeah.
And you know, like I say, like I just want to be out in open space and a little bit
This
quieter.
is the thing, because I think we both were similar when we were younger. We were doing so many PT sessions, weren't we? Like sometimes doing 10 to 12 sessions a day, and that's bloody exhausting.
Yeah.
And I knew from a very young age, this isn't sustainable. There's no chance I can continue doing this. Yes, I'm young. I'm able to do it, smashing down monsters for that caffeine. And I remember sleeping in my smart car, for example. But now, obviously, I've been able to grow a business, similar to yourself, and you do step away. You spend a lot of time on the laptop these days than one-on-one person.
Yeah,
It's a strange how it's happened.
It's funny because I worked in a corporate job for probably 6-7 years.
From the ages of what?
From when I left university about 21 until about 25, 26 maybe. And when I took the jump to work for myself, it's funny because I made the jump for more freedom and to spend less time on a laptop, and now I'm probably spending more time behind a laptop than I did when I was working in the corporate world. So it's kind of gone full circle.
But
a
is
little
there
bit.
a difference when you work for yourself? There's a different type of dopamine. There's a different type of hunger.
Yeah, there is. I mean, even now, as cliche as it sounds, like every day doesn't really feel like a work day, and because you're doing it for yourself. But I think it comes with new challenges and new pressures, and you know, trying to be a jack of all trades at times. It's really hard, and you've got different pressures of trying to work and find solutions for yourself. When you work for a business, like a corporate, there are people who are really good at specific components of what they deliver. And if you need advice, you can go and talk to them, say, what's the best thing to do here? And they give you the answers. But when you work for yourself, you kind of got to problem solve yourself a little bit more.
Well, yeah, no, you're right, 100%. I've never really experienced the corporate world, and I've seen your transformation because you was in the corporate world. You got yourself quite in an unhealthy state, didn't you? And you've seen a complete transformation. And I know you share that quite often on your Instagram.
Yeah.
And for people to relate.
Yeah, I mean...
so talk me through that. Like, what were your bad habits in that corporate world, which so many people would be able to relate to now?
Well, I think when you're in a corporate world, you just get stuck in a very strict routine and you don't have as much freedom.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I say I have a lot of freedom now, but a lot of my freedom and holidays is taken up by work. So actually, when you do work for a corporate business, the holidays you take. I used to take long holidays with my annual leave, and it was great. I actually don't really have as much of that now. My holidays still revolve around work, so it's never it's never a full switch off, which is something I really miss. But I love the fact that I can control my own diary. I can do things when I want to. You get amazing opportunities in the work that we do. You know, we're sat here doing a podcast, which is awesome, and you wouldn't have that opportunity. So I think there are pros and cons, but I still love the fact that I can work for myself and work wherever I want to work, and get to meet so many awesome people on a weekly basis, which is great.
And so when you were in that corporate space, like, what was your diet like?
You know what? When I worked in more of a corporate world, I was really into like fitness competitions. So actually, it was probably better than it is now, which is probably not what we're expecting. But I had a pretty strict diet back then, so it was pretty good. And then when I came into fitness, when you're a PT, it's actually really hard to balance your meals because you have like windows of half an hour between clients where you quickly scoff down a meal and then you're back on your feet again, which is probably the worst thing you can do. So, and tiredness was also, obviously, as a PT, was a real issue. I think sometimes I was getting up at like 4 a.m. I was training clients till like 10 or 11, back home, quick hours sleep, back out again for like the 3 till 8 shift.
Client at 9 p.m. It's your 10th client, and you've got to remember what the kids did for their sports day. Things like that.
Being a PT is really hard. I actually think being a PT was one of the most exhausting jobs I've ever had. And it's really great because, again, you're working one-to-one with people. You spend far less time behind a laptop. You're just programming the sessions and you kind of do your thing. But, I was working in Lambeth at one point, and I was traveling in to go and teach 2 classes at about 4 a.m. And I remember I did that for about a year, and every Wednesday it was like, this is my time to come back and sleep. And I'd come back, grey. Really tired, really burnt out. And now there are just different burnouts. Now it's like content creation burnout or versus PT burnout.
I remember my first incident when I realised I need to change things up when I smashed my smart car. I completely just crashed my smart car, and I was like, wow, I'm just doing too much. I can't even think. And that's when I decided to more focus on Instagram, then going online, which obviously you've done recently. And it's been paid off for me. And I always say to PTs out there, if you want to succeed, if you want to take things to the next level, you have to go into that online coaching space. Don't mean like 100%, go all in, find that balance. So have your PT clients, but also get them on your online, like do their nutrition and give them a program when you're not training them, because no one can afford to train 5 times a week, especially what it is.
And I think that diversifying your business into different strands is always a good idea, and having different income streams is always a good idea in any business, just to keep you constantly evolving and challenging yourself as well. I think there are some amazing PTs that deliver in a job without doing online, and that's their thing. They enjoy it and they absolutely smash it. So I guess it is just what you're interested in. For me, it just got to a point where I was like, I can't sustain this long term. I can't keep getting up early morning, and you can't really be a PT who says I do 8 to 10 and then I do 3 till 5. It doesn't really work because it's not a 9 to 5 job. So for me, I just needed a new challenge, a new opportunity.
So when did you start the app? So the app's called PWER, right?
Yeah, the app's called PWER. I was always doing like online programs from probably COVID onwards, like lockdown period onwards. And then about 3 years ago, I started an online platform which is called PWER, which is basically accessible workouts that you can do anywhere. And it's all about building your body with minimal equipment. And then about a year and a half ago, that moved into an app. And now I've been delivering the app and really trying to focus on creating the perfect product for about the last 18 months.
People don't understand the hard graft behind the scenes, getting your developers to do this. Can you add this feature? Okay, that would take 3 or 4 weeks. Actually, end up taking 8.
Yeah.
And in the customer service, I say, when is this feature? It's stressful, isn't it?
I think it's one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Yeah.
Purely because it's something that you can't control yourself, and being a bit of a perfectionist and liking to have control. It's something you just have to let go. And I've got it's actually taught me a lot more patience. And, sometimes when you want something done, you expect it done immediately. But in this world, you just can't really be like that. So it's taught me a lot about patience and taught me to just let things go and control what you can control,
I've learned that too. Obviously, my team in the podcast studio now, they understand that I can get very frustrated. That's just because I want to give the best service possible to my audience.
Yeah.
And when they're giving me maybe some like constructive criticism, I take it on board. I need to take that on board. And it's good that they give me that criticism because I want to improve the app. I want the service to be as good as possible. But of course, it can be frustrated when you speak to a developer, say, can you get this? And it takes a while. And then sometimes when they say, yes, it's been done, you look at it, it goes, not to the quality I wanted.
Yeah.
So it can be quite frustrating.
And some, Apple is a different ball game, and you can't really test developments on an app until it goes live, and sometimes you think it's there and it goes live, you're like, oh no,
it
doesn't work.
For things to be approved as well. Just waiting. I would say about 90% of my clientele know exactly what they need to do with their physical health and their nutrition, but what they lack is accountability. And that's where I step in as an online coach. I give you your tailored program, your meal plan, and I give you that guidance and support throughout the whole journey to make sure that you get the results that you want and you progress to a stronger, healthier, resilient individual. So if you want to step things up and really improve the way you feel, the way you look, then my online coaching is for you. So if you want to receive 25% off my online coaching, simply click the link in the description of this podcast, complete the inquiry form and type transformation to make sure that you receive your 25% discount. I'll be in touch. We'll have a video call so I can understand a little bit more about yourself. I'll explain how my online coaching works, and then we'll get to work and we'll get it done. Life is too short not to feel at your very best.
Yeah.
But how's it going? How is the app going? How's your?
I absolutely love it. It's really good. I love the kind of business, the people that are on there.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of like you were saying there with constructive criticism. It's what I always try to get.
Yeah.
So I speak to members, I call them and I ask them how their experience is, because I want to know that feedback. And sometimes I think it's quite nice for them because they don't expect you to give them a call, which is quite good. But my whole thing is about making the customer experience as strong as I possibly can. And like I say, the last 18 months haven't been about, numbers or anything. It's purely about how I can deliver an awesome product that is not buggy and glitchy, that serves the purpose of who I'm trying to reach, and is also enjoyable and motivating to work out on. So it's changed
it's
periodically.
So true. You can't push your followers to an app that doesn't work because you won't be able to retain.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing when you have your app and you have your subscribers and you have the numbers, is retention is so important. If so, more important than bringing new people on.
Yeah.
Because if you've got a bad app, and yes, you've got a big following and your engagement's great and you can pay money towards ads, but if that app isn't good, you're going to be stressed.
You're only as strong as a product you've got, right? And it's tough. Everyone thinks if you have a big following, you get numbers and you get membership straight away. But
they think you've got 100,000 subscribers like that.
Yeah, that's. I don't think that's it's not been that way for me. As much as I'd love it to be, it's been hard. It's been tough. It's been about looking at the business as a 360 and looking at what's weak, looking at what's not working, testing new elements and being prepared for it to fail.
So talk to me, what does the app do about? It'd be interesting to see how close it is to get it done.
Yeah. So mainly it's about accessible workouts. So there's different kind of components.
Are they live or are they pre-recorded?
Pre-recorded. Each one is around kind of 30 to 40 minutes. Nice. And there are short workouts on there as well. Various programs from running to strength to travel plans. There's all sorts on there. There's about 15 programs that people can follow that structure every day for them with their rest periods and their work days. It's basically just about having an accessible PT in your pocket and being able to pick up your phone and do a workout wherever you are in the world. And that's how I always envisaged it working.
Nice.
There are certainly challenges. Filming is really tough, as I'm sure you'll know as well.
It is.
Getting up each day and filming a workout.
As soon as you press play, you got to be on it.
Yeah.
On days where you don't feel like it.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're slightly injured or you're feeling a bit stiff.
Here
we go.
And I've had some shockers. I've filmed many workouts and then realised I've not hit record or I've not had the mic on and I had to redo them. And there's nothing more soul destroying. But again, it's been a real test of resilience to get through it.
Of course. And how is the setup? Have you got a videographer or do you do it all by yourself?
I have a studio that I film all the workouts in, just because it was becoming really hard filming at home, like moving all furniture around. It was just not. It was just not feasible.
Cost as well.
It's been expensive to have that kind of running. Everything has basically gone back into investment because, like I say, I want it to be good, and
which you have to do if you want to grow your
business.
Quality. All your profits need to, in the first 5 years, I guess, have to go back into creating that business. Making that business a better product.
Yeah, like I say, I think every business has its challenges, but I think for me, the biggest challenge is the fact that I am the one delivering the content and I have to be on form and I have to be, delivering excellence. And sometimes I think I've got to this period now where it's not just about creating the same workout over and over again. It's about creating quality that people can really benefit from.
Yeah. No, because I do minimal equipment workouts with just dumbbells, lighter dumbbells, resistant mats, and there's so much you can do. Obviously, you can try and be creative with batters, high intensity workouts, EMONs, AMRAPs, different types,
Yeah.
let's say like trisets and supersets.
Yeah.
But the most important thing I say to my audience is consistency. I say to them, you've done this exercise before, you're going to do it again, just do it with good quality. And the way you need to progress is by maybe investing in some heavier dumbbells. And if 10 reps is too easy for you, let's go for 12 reps. So that communication is really important.
Yeah, and it is like, you only benefit from a program if you follow the same principles you would if you were with a PT or at a gym. You have to be prepared to increase the weight of dumbbells when it becomes too comfortable and too easy.
Yeah.
And, there is a cost to that, obviously, but it's still significantly cheaper than the cost of a gym membership in most places, certainly in London.
Yeah, of course. Well, let's go back to the 5 pillars because I always ask my audience here. So talk to me, your physical health, what would you say is in a good place?
I think it goes very up and down,
Yeah.
to be completely honest. I have months where I'm really consistent with my training. I can get up in the morning and go. Recently, I've over the last 3 years, I don't know if it's age, I'm 35 almost now, and I think I'm finding it a lot harder to get up than I did when I was in my 20s. And a lot of people used to say to me, "Oh, wait till you're old," and I say, "No way, that's not going to happen." But it has become harder. Different pressures, it's just become a lot harder to get up in the morning. And I can really sympathize with people who say, "I just can't get up in the morning and work out," because for the first time in my life, I felt that. So it's been inconsistent.
And do you get like regular checkup? Because recently I went and just did a regular checkup just to see what my testosterone levels were.
Yeah.
Because I was exhausted. But it was only because I was overworked. My testosterone levels were actually okay. But a lot of men out there might be going, "Oh, I just feel knackered. What's going on?"
That's probably me. That's what I need to do.
Yeah. Check what the testosterone levels are. Because you don't know. Because sometimes when you're overworked, you're not sleeping well, chronic stress from obviously running a business can reduce your testosterone levels.
Yeah. Stress for me is really bad, and anxiety. And, I've managed anxiety over the last 5 years, but really struggled with it to the point where I speak on every podcast I go on now about anxiety because it's really important to me.
People can relate because everyone's quite anxious, especially times like now.
Yeah, and there was a period when I was PTing, it got really bad. It was actually just after I finished London Marathon. I remember I finished the London Marathon, crossed the finish line, and I just completely broke down with a panic attack. I thought I was having a heart attack. It was really scary. I didn't know what was happening. And I checked myself into St. John's ambulance, and they put like the heart rate checker on me and stuff like that, and my heart rate was through the roof. Wow. But then since that day, and I think it was probably this accumulation of a lot of like stress and running and training a lot, I had a period of about 2 years where I really suffered with anxiety, and to a point where I was going to work and then having to come home.
Really?
And I just thought I was going
and
insane.
How do you deal with anxiety now? Have you been able to kind of like control it, or?
Yeah, I had therapy for about 6 months,
which
really helped. Mainly just around like coping mechanisms to deal with it. If you have really bad anxiety, you kind of get stuck in what I call like a kaleidoscope. Everything just suddenly hits you, and you need to have coping mechanisms to try and pull yourself out of that. But yeah, it was a really dark period, and over COVID, it was really bad. When I had COVID, it got really bad. A lot of it, ironically, was around health anxiety and feeling like I was having a heart attack. Yeah, it was a very dark time. But therapy definitely helped, and now I've got a lot better, and I have. Do you
still see your therapist every now and again, or
no, not now. Only I mean. I think having therapy is such a good thing, not even just for people who suffer with anxiety, but just generally if you're a stressed person.
Well, they do say when you're at the top, if you get yourself, I don't know, a mentor or a therapist, you'll stay at the top.
Yeah, maybe I should get them back on.
But
yeah, that was amazing, and now I'm a lot more aware of times when I need to take breaks and need to switch off. Again, I'm not a good person when it comes to switching off. My brain is constantly ticking, which is not helpful.
Yeah, I think if you're that entrepreneurial type, I think you'll always struggle. I'm in that boat as well. I struggle to switch off. The only time I am switching off is maybe when I'm on a dog walk. That's my form of meditation for me. I can actually switch off. Yeah. Even when I'm on holiday, I'm still like, I want to do something, So that's this, like, just be you as a character as well.
And it's difficult in a world of social media where you're constantly thinking about content creation and ideas and things like that. It's very hard.
Do you compare yourself to other influencers or?
You know what? Now I actually don't use Instagram, which is quite a strange approach. But for me, it is just about sharing the content I want to share, and I don't spend a lot of time scrolling.
Back in the day, I used to post something, I'd be checking how many views and likes it's getting. Now I literally post, I put my phone down, 2 hours later, it hasn't done that well. Oh, well, I'm sure the next post might do better. So I don't let it bother me anymore because I know what the algorithm is like. And many people will look at their Instagram and go, it hasn't done really well. Just leave it. Because as long as you believe that the content you're producing is good quality, someone is going to benefit from that, and that's the most important thing. If you're concerned about your views and your likes, then you're just gonna beat yourself up.
Yeah, I've had content that I've posted and been like, oh, it's really not resonated with my audience. But then, a month later, it's resonated with a whole different audience that's come in. So I think the mechanics behind Instagram are very different now, and content has a much longer lifespan.
Yeah.
So, I think if you trust and believe in the content you're sharing and the message you're sharing, it should always stay on there and,
true.
be proud of what you're putting out.
Okay, we've spoken about slightly about mental health. Obviously, I strongly believe that if you improve your physical health, your mental health will definitely improve. Of course, there's some people who are in great physical shape and still struggle with their mental health, and you've obviously just explained that. You've suffered with that. But where are you currently at with your mental health?
Now I think it's a lot better, mainly because I do a lot of things to help for my mental health. I walk a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I use saunas and swim and things like that, which really help.
For example?
I have done, but my idea of journaling now is more like brain dumping, as I call it. So sometimes I wake up and I just literally scribble down everything that's in my head to offload, and that is kind of my form of journaling. I listen to podcasts. I meditate at times, like not consistently, but times when I feel like my stress levels are building. Probably should be something you do consistently, but for me, it just works to be able to do it in periods where I feel like my stress levels are kind of boiling over. And I kind of feel like our bodies are just kettles, and when you put too much water in it and you fill it up too high and you stick it on, it boils over a pan or whatever. That is kind of my approach to everything. So I'm a much better at becoming self-aware of my own stress levels.
Realising that you're nearly at boiling point. Yeah. And it's time just to relax.
Yeah, and trying to do things to bring it down.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm much more relaxed about taking a day off when I feel like I need it and things like that, which I typically before would never feel comfortable doing. Yeah. So, obviously financials are important. You need to have money to pay the bills, but if you don't have your mental health and your well-being, then you've got nothing. So
for me in the summer, obviously we got longer days. I can't switch off until it's dark. So if it's still light outside, I'm still got to do something. Otherwise, I feel very lazy. So until I'm getting to bed around 12 o'clock now because I'm not finishing until 9-10 p.m. at night. Which is crazy.
Yeah, that's long. I mean,
that is long.
I'm in bed way before that.
Are you?
I go to bed about 10 o'clock. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. I get up at 6 every day, and sometimes it's just a case of just like I say, offloading and brain dumping in the morning. Sometimes I just sit with a coffee and just kind of try and be present in that moment. Sometimes I go to the gym. Sometimes I teach classes at Third Space early in the morning, like 4 times a week.
So sleep for you is massively important.
The sleep is really important. I mean, my sleep protocol is pretty big. I do a lot.
I think it's so important.
Yeah.
I think it's probably not spoken about for now. Like obviously, yes, your physical health, your nutrition needs to be spot on, but your sleep, if your sleep isn't good, then both your nutrition and obviously your activity levels will be affected.
Yeah, and I did a breathwork qualification a few months ago, about 6 months ago, and off the back of that, I actually tape my mouth when I sleep as well, which is bizarre for a lot of people.
Paul Lima, my mate Paul Lima, he's in a video, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bizarre thing to do, but when you do it, if you wake up in the morning with like a really dry mouth, and if you're someone that sleeps and you know that your mouth is open, you're breathing through your mouth. You wake up and you're very kind of foggy and you just don't feel fresh. If you tape your mouth and you promote breathing through your nose, you just don't have any of those issues. So when I wake up now, I feel much more alert. I don't have the foggy head, and it's helped my breathing and me to transition to breathing through my nose on a day-to-day basis. Nice. And if you're someone that struggles with anxiety or panic attacks, and you breathe through your nose day to day, you typically have a much lower breath rate. Wow. So there's a lot of help around kind of stress reduction and anxiety on that.
Wow, I love that.
It doesn't look great when you go to bed, but
no, of course.
The sacrifice we make.
I'm sure your missus enjoys it.
Yeah, she does it as well. So it's fine.
Accountability is most people's downfall when it comes to reaching health and fitness goals. You've got the gym membership, you've got the best intentions, you know what you want to achieve, but you just can't seem to stay consistent, so you give up or settle for little or no results. My one-to-one coaching is designed to create a specific plan for you to follow with your goals in mind. But with the added bonus of regular check-ins and communication, you will have the accountability you're missing, and therefore no choice but to level up and get it done. So if you're listening to this episode and it's time to level up, hold yourself accountable and get the results you want, I'll give you 20% off my one-to-one coaching. All you have to do is include the word transform in your inquiry form. Link in the episode description. Social health, mate, something that I definitely need to improve on. Obviously, I'm so busy with work, and I love my work because I love my career. But parts of me recently, my dream, what I need to make time and put things in a diary for me and my mates to do. I think that's so important. I'm now playing football a lot more. It's my switch off. How's your social life?
I play golf, which is good.
Yeah.
So that also gets you out. Yeah, I play golf with
mates?
mates. We try, I mean, mainly in the summer. We're very much like fair weather golfers, but we'll play quite a lot. And obviously, you're out for 6 hours without your phone, so it's a really good one for me. I still obviously see my friends every month. Now I'm at a point where everyone's kind of got kids and everyone's darted across different parts of the country, which makes it a little bit harder. But you know, we catch up every week, so it's it's pretty good. But again, it's also being in the community. A huge thing for me is having human connection. And when you're working in the area we work in, you can spend a lot of time behind the laptop. So when I teach 4 classes purely for human connection, and also to keep kind of on top of delivering in person workouts.
100%, mate.
So that's great.
When I did my live workouts, I had like over 5,000 people doing it. I had more fun, more dopamine from 30 people in front of me. Do you know what I mean? So that human interaction is so important.
And you know, I teach spin once a week or twice a week, and I love music, so that pairing works really well. And it's just great to be able to see people progress in person and online, and kind of bring that together as a whole package.
Another pillar is emotional health, and people might think, what's the difference between emotional and mental health? It's how you deal with situations. It's how you react to situations. So how's your emotional health?
Again, breathing has been really important to me for doing that, and trying to calm your body as much as you can. I always use the example of when you're out in a car, which happens a lot in London. If people pull out in front of you, the first thing you do is, you know, showing the finger, and the red mist kind of hits you. But I've become a lot calmer since becoming more aware of how I breathe, which has meant I think I'm a much better person. I kind of let things pass. Like I say, with patience, it's taught me a lot about patience and just being able to relax through situations rather than seeing red mist straight away. So that has really helped me control.
It's hard when you're under stress, you know, to deal with your emotional health, because unfortunately people around you are the ones who see it first. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that you're actually like mean to that person, but unfortunately you're at high stress, or your cortisol levels are so high.
You can become short fused, and you know, you speak to people in a way that you don't really want to speak to, you wouldn't want to be spoken to yourself. So I really feel like if people are finding they're very stressed, they should turn first of all to how they breathe. And you know, I've worked with people who work on their breathing in, you know, really high powered corporate jobs, and looking at their breath rate per minute, and it's through the roof. And you know, they say I'm healthy, I'm fit, I'm feeling great, but their breathing patterns are massively escalated, and it's just causing stress to your body. So you know, being in tune with how you breathe, I think, is something that everyone should become aware of.
100%. And has your partner seen an impact, a positive impact?
I'd like to say yes, but I haven't asked the question.
You haven't had the question,
I don't know. I don't know. We're still together, so maybe it's a good thing.
That's good. Financial health, mate. How's the financial health?
I think as I've got older again, I keep saying I've got older as if I'm like some wise person, which I'm definitely not. But financials become significantly less important to me. I obviously want enough financial reward to be able to do the things I want to do in life. But I think there have been periods I've earned more money or less money, and I've realized actually it didn't make me happier. I think you get to a point where you're just quite happy with what you have, and that's kind of where I'm now. My sole passion is like enjoying what I do, and I feel like if you enjoy what you do, you kind of get those things anyway. So I don't
so what
really.
would your goals be when maybe you was in your early 20s compared to now?
I think when I was in my early 20s, I always wanted to be like a CEO of like a massive company, and I don't really know why, but I always wanted to work in sport as well. So for me, like the ideal job would have been like CEO of a football club or something like that. And now my kind of goal is just to enjoy what I do, and just always believe I don't want to get to a point where I don't enjoy work. And thankfully over the last 10 years, obviously there's been moments where I haven't enjoyed work, or parts of work anyway. But day to day, like I say, I never wake up and dread a Monday. And I think for me, that is a huge win. If I can have that, I'm pretty happy in life.
Yeah, 100%. I remember growing up, my goals were, obviously I was training a lot of famous people, a lot of billionaires, millionaires, being on yachts, being in Monaco. So I want this lifestyle. I'm going to work my nuts off to get this lifestyle. And then you have to realise, you know what? do you know what? It's not about that, because some of them are the most unhappiest people, and I've realised that. For me, it's about, obviously I want that freedom. I want to be comfortable. I don't want to worry about bills. Of course, that's brilliant. But you don't necessarily have to be a multi-millionaire. If it comes, then happy days, buzzing. And I'm still going to work hard towards that, because obviously if I'm very well off, then I can help people around me, family, friends. I can bring more employees on board as well, which would be ideal. And you can build that buzz around you. But yeah, my goals definitely have changed since I was younger. Do I need to drive a Ferrari? Not necessarily. But if I get to a position where I'm driving a Ferrari, what a great bonus.
Yeah, I think like things that I value in life are freedom and flexibility, and for me the biggest one is environment.
Yeah.
I would choose a good environment to live in over anything else. I don't really buy much stuff. I just don't really feel the need. Whenever I've done that, it's kind of been like a short-term fix. And then, like, you know, a month later, you're kind of thinking, oh, I don't really need that. And it's kind of, I don't like that
the novelty wears
process.
off, don't you?
Yeah. So for me, it's more about having a nice environment to live in and be happy in that place rather than cars and things like that. It's not really, never really appealed to me.
Yeah, good.
Maybe because like I never had it when I was younger. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
It's just never been a thing.
I think it's just who you surround yourself with, you know, because I remember in my little smart car driving into these massive houses in Oxshore, then going to the King's Road, or then going to Hydro Ken. I'm like, wow, I want a bit of this, and I have to work my nuts off. And don't get me wrong, if it comes, then great. But it's not, for me, it's all about, like I said, the freedom. Being able to shoot off on the weekend anywhere I want to go, that's freedom to me. If I want to go to Bali for 2 weeks, that's freedom. And I know it's not realistic for most, but that is now my goals, to continuously live that lifestyle.
Yeah, and it's a lovely lifestyle to live, to be able to have just enjoyment in life. I think is the ultimate goal for me. I've trained a lot of people who are super wealthy, and you know they've got their own stresses. I think sometimes you feel like more money means less stress, but I don't think it does. I think it's just an elevated.
Well, the VAT and the tax.
I mean, yeah, there's just different stresses. So
yeah, 100%. And what's the next goal, mate? What's the goal?
Just to keep doing what I'm doing, which sounds a really boring answer, but I'm really just super dialed in on doing what I want to do at the moment in terms of building the business I've got, in terms of the app and things like that. I really enjoy it, but I want to make it better, and I want it to be the best app out there for what I do, and just keep evolving. And
keep
you know,
adapting.
hopefully keep happy and keep stress free, or as much as possible would be good.
Will do, mate. Sounds like you're wiser.
I am definitely wiser over the years. I've maybe just gone through some dark times to realize I don't want to do that again.
You have to go through those dark times to come out the other side in a positive way. Like, you can't expect things to be a nice, smooth path to success. It's always up and down, and those tough moments make you a tougher person, make you more wiser. And then obviously we can encourage those youngsters who are going to go through those tough times.
Yeah,
that'd be key.
And I think it's a great time for people who are building social media following to start thinking about what they're doing outside of just content creation, and how they actually build a longevity, a business around what they do.
Because I guess we've been in the same boat where we've had ambassador roles, and at a point where all my income was coming from Instagram. So I remember maybe I had about 4 or 5 ambassador roles at one time, earning really good money. But what it did, it absolutely killed my engagement. Do you know what I mean? Which was like, in the long run, this isn't going to work. So then I just focused on just building the Bradley Simmons to get it done brand. I was F45 ambassador, just an example, and had a year contract, a 6-month clause. And we mutually agreed 6 months, it's cut out, because they saw that I wasn't loving it anymore. My whole page ended up being blue, red and white. So it kind of went against what Bradley Simmons was trying to achieve in the long run. So you have to be careful when you get thrown these big deals. If you're an ambassador, if your influence in is growing, yes, it's brilliant to bring that money on board, but really be careful and just think about the longevity.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Peloton came over to the UK, I met with Peloton, and they said, we were, you know, keen to work with you. You come on as, you know, one of the first UK instructors. But a part of that was that I wouldn't be able to do anything for myself. So for me, it was just a no-brainer if it wasn't right.
Yeah.
But you know, these things come and go. But I feel like if you build your business and you build your brand for yourself, then, and it's, you know, you're passionate about doing it, then in the long run, whether it's 2, 5, 10, 20 years, you're going to find happess in some capacity.
Because I guess you can control your own business. You can't control other ambassador or other brands working with you, right?
And I enjoy it. It's addictive. Like it's, you know, especially in apps, your limit is how much you're prepared to invest into the app. You can do anything in apps. You can build AI into it. You can do anything. And I find that addictive. You know, we constantly add stuff on every month, and that for me is like, an addictive element to having a business that you can continue to evolve and see that progression every month. So I'm just happy with that.
Good stuff. Well, mate, it's been a great conversation. It's flown by. I'm sure we could talk for
Yeah,
another hours.
crazy.
And mate, honestly, it's been incredible seeing your journey and your growth. We've both been in the industry for ages, and long may it continue.
Let's hope so. Thanks for having me on.
Top man.